Instead, we're going to be talking about one of the large developers from Mumbai who has pan-India ambitions, macro tech developers, the owners of the Lodha brand. We talked to them today when they're doing a product launch to be carbon neutral. You've seen a very strong first quarter operational update as well when it came to the pre-sales numbers. And like I told you, they have pan-India ambitions, entering new markets, signing new joint development agreements. So joining us right here on the show is Abhishek Lodha, the MD and CEO. We're also being joined by Amory Lovins, the RMI Global Head. Thank you. Welcome to ET Now. Mr. Lodha, I'm going to begin with you first, straight up. And, congratulations on the Net Zero Urban Accelerator Plan. And let's talk more about this. What exactly is about this launch, details that you can share with us, the plans that you can share with us?
The Lodha Net Zero Urban Accelerator is our way of contributing to India's journey, which the Prime Minister has laid out to become a net zero carbon country economy by 2070. As you may be aware, real estate and its ancillary industries in the supply chain make up almost 40% of the global greenhouse emissions. Now, if a country of the scale of India is going to become net zero carbon in the next 50 years or just under 50 years, then some of the industries which are the major sources of the greenhouse gas emissions have to take a leadership role. We believe that the housing and real estate industry in India is set for a very significant amount of growth. And therefore, over the next 20 years, if we can build these in a sustainable, green-friendly manner, then India's journey to become net zero carbon by 2070 will be very much possible to achieve. With that objective, we have tied up with RMI, which is the world's leading institution when it comes to developing sustainable net zero carbon built environments. And Professor Amory Lovins, who is the founder of the RMI, I'm very pleased that he is joining us today for this discussion. And the objective of our accelerator will be to try out the solutions which are global, the theories, the ideas, the best practices from across the globe in the Indian context, in the fact that in India you have different climatic conditions, you have different income conditions. So we try them out in India. We try them out in a manner which allows us to quickly learn as to what works and what doesn't work and what requires tweaking and what needs to be discarded. And then we share this knowledge very widely with all other stakeholders, including the government, policymakers, media, research houses, students, as well as other real estate developers, free of cost. So all the information is shared so that people know that in India, what is possible and how to implement it. And with this, our hope is that we will be able to make the real estate industry in India move to net zero carbon by 2040 itself, well ahead of the overall goal of 2070 that has been set for the nation as a whole.
I go across to Professor Amory Lovins for more on this. RMI first engaged by the Lodha Group back in 2018, if my memory serves me right. Coming specifically to what has been launched now, talked about now, Mr. Lodha was also referring to, what exactly is it that RMI is bringing to the table?
RMI is an independent nonprofit institution that works with about 500 staff in about 10 sites around the world, including India, where we have very strong Indian partners and affiliates. And we help create a clean, prosperous, secure energy system for all, and a low or no carbon one as well. So we're particularly excited by this collaboration with Lodha Group as a way to develop and spread this knowledge very rapidly across all India, aware of its enormous diversity of cultures and climates and conditions. We think the opportunity is particularly great in India because of the depth of talent, the level of ambition, and also the pervasiveness of the software way of doing things, where you try many things quickly, learn quickly, and scale quickly. And what's added to that here is open sourcing, so that this knowledge can spread without inhibition and be further developed by the immense talent that we see all over India. This applies to existing infrastructure, which can often be greatly improved in new ways we didn't even know about a few years ago. And also, of course, in building new infrastructure, because it's so much easier to build it right than to fix it later. You may have noticed RMI's collaboration with Niti Aayog and others, and with a large number of private firms in the Shunya carbon-free mobility initiative. We're particularly gratified by how quickly this has been taken up as a way to get better mobility, better lives, better health for our children.
Abhishek, I wanted to understand the Q1 business update, because that has been very strong. Larger developers are coming out with strong updates as well. So the question is, do you believe that this kind of a trend looks sustainable?
We firmly believe that housing in India is at the start of a long term, which is 10 to 15-year upcycle, because the factors of increasing demand driven by nuclear families, growing incomes and job creation, easy availability of mortgages, and equally importantly, the fact that the home has become a much more important part of people's lives after COVID on the demand side. And on the supply side, the desire of people to only buy from the most high quality, branded, credible names, and therefore a consolidation and a discipline in supply. With these two factors in place, we firmly believe that housing is at the start of a multi-year upcycle. Home prices will move up modestly, housing volumes will grow significantly, and we believe that housing in India will be a real driver of creation of wealth for homeowners in the years to come as prices gradually move up.
You know, we've seen prices which have already seen an upward bias gradually. So how are things when it comes to the raw material front? Because inflation is clearly hurting everyone. Are you able to pass this on to consumers?
The inflation situation is already moderating. As you know, globally now commodity prices, at least several commodities, are now way off their all-time highs, which were achieved in the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine situation in March and April of this year. And at that time, you also had the lockdowns in China. Overall, we find that inflation of construction costs in India has moderated reasonably over the last 3 months, and we expect that to be the case going forward. So yes, we watch inflation carefully, but as we have shared in the data in our analyst presentations, the inflation is not a substantial risk, and we believe that it will moderate in the times to come.
And I should add here that there are new structural design methods that can dramatically reduce dependence on steel and cement in particular, and materials in general, by more elegantly frugal structural design.
Okay, so there you go. We're getting into the operational update, the impact of inflation, and of course, this move as far as going green also goes. Usually, when companies go green, we also see ESG funds a little behind them. Thanks a lot, Jonathan, for being live with us today.